What is up, my guys and gals? It is time for yet another Black Perspective. Okay, so, today I'm not gonna lie. I got something that's like kind of jokey, but like also kind of a serious topic, right? Like, I'll just keep it 100. So yesterday, May 29th, was my birthday, right? Your boy turned 23, right? And, I had fun. It was cool or whatever type shit. But, what I realized is I have like this, like, I felt like the weight of the world on my shoulders, right? As I was thinking back, looking at my life, thinking about, damn, what have I done since I've turned 18, right? Because, I've only been 20 for 3 years, but per United States law anyway, I've been an adult for like, what is that, like 5 to 6 years? I'm sorry, I'm like doing them out the top of my head, so you're just gonna have to give me an L on that. Yeah, it's like 5 years. So, like, I've been out of school since like 2021, and, high school anyway. I've been out of college since like 2023, I think, technically. So it's been a while, right? I've been out of school technically for a good while, right? And I won't lie, it definitely is something to think about. And I wanted to talk about it, right? One of the first things I wanted to discuss is, how easy it is to just kind of, I guess, well, let's just be honest, laze around in your 20s, right? And, this might come from a place of sounding too harsh on oneself, and maybe I am being, but I just want to share my thoughts and experience on this. So hopefully, this might help somebody else realize, like, how easy it is to, you know, have them years fly by you, because there is truth to that. So let's get into it. So, first up, as I mentioned, it's been a while since I've been out of school, right? And I remember when I left high school, one of my teachers, right? I'm not gonna say his name just for privacy's sake, but he was like my, cyber tech, like computer lab teacher, I guess you could say, type shit. And I remember he told me, and I'm paraphrasing, but he basically told me when he was asking me, he's like, "Oh, well, bro, what do you plan to do when you graduate?" And I said, honestly, I don't know. I never thought I'd really like get here, like I felt like I'd always be in school for the rest of my life as a teenager, because you can barely see past like a month, much less 4 years, at least that's how I was. So I told him, I'm going to take a little bit of time off and just figure out what I want to do with my life, I guess. Or the words that no one wants to hear, take a gap year, all right? And he was like, "All right, bro, I hear you. Just be careful, because it's very easy to have that gap year become like a decade. You know what I mean? It's very easy." So he's like, "But I wish you the best in life, and I, God bless," or whatever the fuck, right? Again, paraphrasing. And I remember when I was younger, I was like, you know how it is when you're younger. You're like, yeah, I hear you, and you know that they're giving you solid advice, but it doesn't really take form. It doesn't take shape. It wasn't until I like turned 23 yesterday that I really realized the weight of what he was trying to tell me, for real. Because I was sitting there thinking to myself, damn, what have I done since I've turned 18? And I've done like a few very, things. I don't want to say very small and like just limit myself there, but I have done a few things. Like, I went to university, even though it was for a semester. I got to experience it and notice that it's something I do want to actually go full time at, when I'm in a little bit of a better position in life, right? I got a wonderful girlfriend. I got Elizabeth, right? I I did the thing that I was yearning for years. I lost my virginity, which put me into like some existential early life crisis when I realized that it really wasn't all that we made it out to be in high school. Sex is just, it's cool, but like it's not going to change your life. And aside from that, I moved out of my mom's place. So, I made some strides. I'm not trying to make it seem like I haven't done shit at all, but like, I just think, like, damn, sometimes I feel like I should be further than what I am. And I know it's an easy trap to fall into, right? But I just look at it in the perspective of, like, damn, bro, like, I'm 30% of the way through my 20s. Like, I'm 23, I'm 30% done. And it's crazy because it feels like I just turned 21, like, half a year ago. You know what I mean? Like, now I'm already 23. So, like, they weren't lying when they said, yeah, like, your 20s, they fly. Like, I personally think the longest I felt like I was waiting was from the year to go to 18 and then to go to 21. In the US, those are like some of the bigger landmarks of age, I guess you could say. Because it's like, 18 is like oh, you're an adult now. And then when you turn 21, it's like, oh, you can like legally drink and you have access to more things, even though you don't fully develop until like 25 ish, right? As as my generation, Gen Z loves to talk about the frontal lobe developing type shit. So, yeah. But like I said, 18 to 21 are kind of like the big, like, cultural sweet spots, I guess you could say, in terms of like age, like the milestones. Like, 22 felt like it just zoomed by. Like, you start working like a regular job. Maybe you get in a relationship, right? Maybe you're working towards your goals or some shit. Or maybe you're not, right? Let's just keep it 100. Like, for a while, I felt like I was just drifting by, just going to work because, I don't really have much else of a choice. It's like, yeah, I kind of have to work in one way or another. And I know that there's always people that are like, there's always like, oh, this generation don't want to work, this and the third. It's like, I mean, and there's some truth to that. Like, why would I want to work? I don't want to. Or at least in the way that we typically have it set up, right? It's like, who the fuck would want to go to some random cubicle or go in their warehouse and do all this labor to get pennies on the dollar and, come back home with very little, if any at all, especially after your bills are done with it? It's like, yeah, who the fuck would want to do that? Like, work, and this is going to be a whole separate video, but work isn't what we think. Oh, excuse me. I fucking like got far away from my mic for a second. But work isn't what we think it is anymore. Like, and again, that's like a whole rabbit hole, but it's work is just so much more different now, right? And it's one of those things, at least for me, that I enjoyed working when I was part-time and I was doing it for fun. Like, when I was 17, I was working at like the Rite Aid, right? Rest in peace type shit. But I was working at Rite Aid when I was like 17. And it was fun, right? Like, I was working like, I think 30 hours at the most, like typically like 20 to 25, sometimes 30, like during like holiday season or some shit. And I was making like $13 an hour. I was making like $13 an hour, bro. But this is like before COVID, and I was a teenager, so this was actually like good money at the time. At least what it felt like. You're a teenager in high school just trying to get some money so you can go hang with the bros or just buy some shit on the game, type shit. And I had so much more fun. I liked my coworkers for the most part, right? I liked my coworkers, and I just enjoyed the job, right? The job was cool. I came from a smelly ass kitchen at first, but I've noticed with jobs, I always have that stage of liking them. And then if I like the job, it seems like something always happens to make me either have to leave or dislike it, right? Like, my current job, I loved it. Like, I loved coming here. Like, I'm not gonna say I loved coming here, but like, I enjoyed the coworkers. Like, we have our laughs. Like, the work can be kind of grueling sometimes, but like, overall, it wasn't too bad. And then the raises came, right? And they gave me a 5-cent raise. And then after that, all respect and love I have for this job pretty much evaporated, like, instantly, right? And ever since then, I've been just looking to get the fuck out of here. But that's proving harder and harder every day. But I'm sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. I'm sorry, I got very sidetracked. It's just like, and there's just a lot on my mind when it comes to this 20 shit, man. Like, you sit back and you think about it, and you're like, damn, what have I really done with my life? And like I said, I try not to be too hard on myself, because I know I can be at times, right? But I don't know, man. It's one of those things you just look back on and you're like, you know, what have I done? But to go on a more positive note, that brings me to my next point of the video is, setting goals for yourself, right? I think if there's anything I could tell anyone out there is that one of the things that'll help you stay on track in life is setting a goal, right? And it sounds corny, right? But think about it. If you're just wobbling around, walking around, doing nothing, lazy, gooting, playing the game, smoking, whatever, then you're not really progressing. You're just kind of like, you know, I don't want to say freeloading, but like fucking around, basically, right? But when you have a goal in mind, you're actually working towards something. Like, for example, if you're like, oh, I want to lose 30 pounds by December, right? That's a goal. That gives you an idea what to work towards, and you can build like a routine to get to that goal. Or if you're like, I want to learn how to cook more, like I want to learn how to cook at least 5 dishes before the year is over, right? That's a goal. It gives you something to work towards. For me, my goal is to start studying for my driver's license, right? I can see the SpongeBob shit now, bro. Like, damn, Uncle, you 23 with no license. And like, yeah, I just never got around to getting it for the most part. But now I'm seeing how limited my opportunities are without a license and a degree. It's like double whammy, double homicide, nigga. So yeah, I'm gonna try to. I'm starting in June this month, upcoming. Like literally, I think like a day or two after this, I'm gonna start studying to get on that, right? And I think I'm just gonna put in like 1 chapter a day or a week, depending on how many chapters. I think I might just do a day or like every other day. I don't know. I haven't set it up yet. I've been thinking about how I want to go about it. And I've also been thinking about getting a planner, like unironically, because it's like, damn, like there's so much shit that happens in this life that, I feel like it's easy to lose track of it all. But yeah, so some of my goals are to get my driver's license before the end of the year, right? We're coming up on month 6 of 12, so I got half a year to get it done. So I got the time. And then another thing is I'm currently 200 pounds at like 5. The last time I was like my height was taken, I was 5'10", but everyone says that I'm taller than that. So I'm just going to say 5'11", right? I don't know if I'm actually 6 feet. I'm not going to claim it if I don't know. So I'm just going to say 5'11" type shit. Sorry, guys. The yawn always comes back, bro, no matter how much sleep I get. But yeah, I'm like 5'11". I'm like 200 pounds. And I've seen that, like, I always was like kind of hard stuck at like 170, 180-ish, somewhere around there. And it wasn't until I started dating Elizabeth that I started gaining some weight. That relationship weight type shit. We're over here eating around and all the time, eating, lazing, and just having fun. And the marijuana definitely didn't help me, I'll be honest, right? But I'm like 200 now, so I put on like 20 pounds or so. So your boy, I want to slim it up a little bit, type shit. I see some of it is muscle. Definitely some of it is muscle. I'm not gonna say it's not, right? And that's not cope. All right, I actually do feel stronger. All right, that's not cope, but I can definitely say like I got some of that pooch going on, just a little bit. So I kind of want to lose like 10 pounds or so, before the year is over. I don't want to go too crazy. I want to start. I really want to build more muscle. Just sculpt my body a little bit. But I just mainly want to lose like 10 pounds is fine. And then like my last goal of the year, honestly, is just be happier. Be a little healthier, enjoy life a little more. It's easy to just be caught up in it all, right? It's easy to just be super hard on yourself, but you don't realize like how much shit is against you in this life. whether you're, no matter the context, but I mean, especially as a black person, like, let's just keep it 100, right? You don't realize how much shit is against you in this world, and it's not easy. It's really not. And it's one of those things that you just gotta remember in the back of your head, like, it's like, especially in America, like, this shit was designed to go against you. It was designed to make you fail. So you gotta just remember to take your W's, no matter how big or small, as a W regardless, because, it's it was hard to get in the first place. But aside from that, I mean, I don't really have much else to say. I just kind of wanted to get on here and share a little bit of that and just tell you guys, like, please, for the love of God, like, especially if you're like a teenager, if you're 18, like, it's easy to slip into that, mindset of, oh, I'm just trying to figure it out, and I'm trying to just take it day by day. And it's like, yeah, that's true, but at some point you do have to ask yourself, what do you want out of life, right? Like, for me, right, I want to chase this YouTube shit. I want to see where it goes. Oh, excuse me, that's just weird. I want to see where it goes type shit, right? I want to see how far I can take this, pause. That sounds crazy, but like, I want to see, maybe I could be the next queso type shit, maybe I could be the next Markiplier, who knows, Rad Brad timing. We'll see. I gotta be more consistent with it. That's my biggest issue, is that, and I always tell people, like, consistency is what really kills you, bro, or a lack of, anyway. A lack of consistency is what kills you, because you can work out. Oh my God, bro. You can work out like every other day, right? But if you're just eating all this junk, it's like you're not really gonna get anything out of it, right? Like, you gotta be consistent with it in all aspects. You can get really good sleep on Mondays and Thursdays and sleep like shit the rest of the day or the rest of the week, and you're gonna be still feeling like shit, right? So it's like, again, you got to balance things in life, and you got to have consistency, because when you're consistent, it's when you see the most progress. That's when you see the results. And I won't lie, it's a little hard, bro. It can be a little hard sometimes. But, also, before I end this video, I'm gonna end it with some positives, right? Like, some of the things that I can definitely say for sure have improved my life personally, that I would recommend for other folks if you kind of feel similar in that regard, right? One of the biggest things I can tell you off the bat, get more sleep. Trust me, sleep dictates a lot more than you think. And, like, it's not just, oh, I feel tired or I don't feel tired. It's like your sleep can affect your gains, bro. Like, if you don't get enough sleep, your gains get affected, right? And that's not like the only reason you should care, but like, I know, Gen Z, we're obsessed with going to the gym, so it's like, that's one of the big reasons that if you say that, it's like, oh shit, for real, bro? It's like, yeah, like, your gains can get affected if you don't sleep. Aside from that, like, obviously your levels of like tiredness will definitely get affected if you don't sleep. And if you don't get any consistent sleep, it can worsen things like your depression and everything else. And one thing I've noticed when getting more consistent sleep is that I feel more full of energy, right? Like, overall, like, I'll be drowsy, right? I'm not gonna act like I won't. I'll be drowsy, but overall I feel like more full of energy, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like I can move around a little bit better. I could, stay up for a little bit longer, more consistently. Like, typically these days I get up at like 7. Well, if it's like a weekday, like a work day, a weekday, I'm typically getting up around like 7 at the latest. I'll be honest, like 7:20 if I snooze, right? But like, most of the time I'm getting up at like 6:30ish, right? If I'm really on top of my shit, I'll be up at 6, but latest I'll wake up is like 7:20, but I try to be up around 7, right? Give myself some breathing room to actually enjoy my morning a little bit before I just jump off to fucking work type shit. But aside from that, on the weekday or the weekends, typically the latest I'll be up or be asleep is like 10 or like 11. That's if I'm really pushing it. I usually try to aim for like 9 or 10, but like sometimes it'll be noon if I was like up late as fuck and like I was just going crazy type shit, with the bros. But that was one thing. Like sleep, trust me, bro. Getting more consistent, better sleep. Like you think I'm bullshitting? Like it'll change you, bro. You sit here and get more consistent sleep, and now all of a sudden you're feeling more consistent. You're feeling more up and at 'em. You're feeling like you can move around better. You know what I mean? So it makes me wonder, how the hell did I function getting like 4 to 6 hours of sleep at most as a teenager, bruh? Like I was really sleep depriving myself to be on the game or just be watching like Dashie back in the day. And I'm not gonna act like I don't know why, right? Like I know why I was doing it. I just fucking said it, you know. But like I remember when I was in 7th grade, I was obsessed with like Max Payne 3, right? I love Max Payne 3. I want to play for the older ones, right? I got them downloaded. I just haven't gotten to them yet. But like I remember one day I woke up early in the morning. I think I woke up at like 4 or 5 in the morning just to play Max Payne 3, and I went to school that same day, and I was fucking my head was nodding off in class. I was looking like that one animation on YouTube that I'm sure a lot of us saw, how it feels to fall asleep in class and bro's head's turning into like a bowling ball and like a cinder block and shit at his desk, and it's like, yeah, that's real as fuck, bruh. So I have no idea how the hell I was even. Like, why? I don't know, bro. Yeah, I'm just keep it. I couldn't tell you. But, like, yeah. Moving on, because, like, video's hitting, like, 21 minutes, so I want to wrap this up and try to make them a little shorter. But, next thing I want to tell people is, please, for the love of God, get some exercise in, right? And I know, all right? But think about it. What else are you really doing, right? You're gooning, maybe you're playing a game, maybe you're watching TV. It's like, bro, you can take 30 minutes out of your day and hit some weights, right? Or if you don't have any weights, that's cool, right? There are body workouts like push-ups, sit-ups, right? Fucking like jumping jacks and shit. You can do yoga stretches to get your flexibility up, type shit. Which there's nothing wrong with that, all right? I do some light stretching here and there my damn self just to make sure my body doesn't feel like shit. Because let's keep it, especially to the men, right? Like, let's keep it 100. What's more important, having a body that feels great and functions well, or not having that just so you could be perceived as not being gay? It's like, come on, bruh. Like, you that worried about a man's opinion of you, that's gay as fuck. If we keeping it 100. But yeah. Right, I ain't saying you got a downward dog in front of the bros, bruh, or nothing like that. I'm just keeping it 100. Some light stretching will do you some good. But yeah, like hit some weights type shit, do some push-ups, go outside, get some fresh air. Like I'm telling you, bro, it feels good. Like in the mornings, I typically try to do, like I've got up to 20. So I try to get up to like 20 push-ups before I head out. And then I try to do 20 push-ups before I go to sleep. And I'll be honest, I have been the most consistent. I've seen some of the game progress, but like again, I could have been farther if I was more consistent. But I'm trying to keep it 100, so y'all don't think I'm perfect or nothing like that. I'm trying to keep it 100, so you know. So yeah, get some of that workout in, cause trust me, all the food you eat and all that lazing around, it adds up quick in your 20s, bro. Like when I was a teenager, all my bros always made fun of me, like, "Oh my god, bro, when your metabolism slow down, you gonna be fucked." And like, I don't know if it is slowing down or if I'm just eating that much more or what. I'm assuming it's slowing down a little bit. Because again, I was like hard stuck at like 1738, but 170 pounds, 180 pounds. And like to this day, people have this idea that I'm like 150 pounds. And I'm like, damn, bro, I got a nice slutty waist, but come on, like, what the fuck? But like seriously, bro, like work out, because trust me when I say the benefits of working out, not physically but mentally as well, are more than worth it. And last but not least, and I think this is very important for me especially, but for my Zoomer boys and girls, try not to stay in the past too much, right? I know it's easy for all of us to be like, bro, 2017, 2019 was the shit. We had Rice Gum, we had Fetty Wap going crazy in like 2015. You know, Clash Royale was popping off. You know, Fortnite. You know, it's easy to reminisce, but you know, you'll catch yourself reminiscing so much that you're not living. You know, and that's the thing. There's nothing wrong with reminiscing here and there, even about high school, right? There's nothing wrong reminiscing, but you got to do it sparingly, right? And you got to remember that those times are never coming back. And it took me a while to really accept it, but you got to accept it, bro. Those times are never coming back, and we're never going to get them back. So all we can really do is just move forward, right? Nothing wrong with loving what happened in the past and appreciating it. Like, I think about them too, you know? Times with my cousins when we were swimming in the pool in the backyard with each other, you know, playing soccer in the front yard. I was talking to my grandma about that, just fucking around, just having fun. Or with my bros playing Mortal Kombat and Fortnite and shit when we were in school, laughing, recording videos for a project for my boy Nas, right? But at the end of the day, you know, memories, man, but they're not gonna come back. No point in living in the past. We gotta move forward. But yeah, that's about it. So I just want to thank everyone for just sticking with me, looking at these videos, giving them a little gander. I want to thank everyone for, you know, honestly, just being there. You know, like, there are times I sit here and I think, damn, bro, like, I really need to be more consistent. I need to be this, and this. And then I remember, like, nah, you know, like, people that's going to be there for you and with you, they're going to be there for you and with you, bro. And, you know, it just helps me feel a little bit better, you know, that you guys are still here. I guess you could say, you know, that you're, you know, despite everything, you're still here. You're still watching my shit, you know, and I hope my words can touch somebody, you know, in a way. Take it from a 23-year-old, bro. Like, that time flies by faster than you think. But aside from that, like I said, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. And I wish y'all a great day type shit. Go seize it. Go get out there, get active, and make the best of it, because you never know when it's going to be your last day, man. So yeah, aside from that, I'm about finished yapping. So I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.